Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks. Today we have another episode of Journey Through VGC. The current format we in is Regulation D. Y'all ready? Let's get into it. So today we have our Greninja Rainbow Balance team. The reason I call it Rainbow Balance, because initially, instead of Amorouge and Indeedee, I had Rillaboom and Arcanine, which made up a Firewater Grass Core plus Zapdos and Enamorus, and just the colors kind of, made me turn it around into a balanced team. Plus the Firewater Grass Core, which is why I call it Rainbow Balance. But we, after playing a couple matches with it and playing on Showdown some, and when I brought it in game, I kind of didn't like, how passive the Rillaboom was, and as well as the Arcanine. I didn't feel like this team really needed that Intimidate. It does support Zapdos a little better. The previous team does support Zapdos a little better, but I felt like I had a really abysmal Trick Room matchup. So I kind of wanted to make the team a little bit stronger, right? So we do still have a Grass type sorta in Amorouge. It is Grass Tera plus a Grass type move. So that kind of covers the Grass type that we were missing, right? And it also covers the Fire type for Arcanine. So it kind of does both. We do lose the Fake Out, but I was kind of, wanting to play towards Indeedee's terrain more so to assist Annihilate. And it's worked out so much better for me, because the idea behind this team is that once you get Annihilate going, if they try to switch in, if you're Water Tera and fake you out and try to KO Annihilate, then you can't protect because your Choice Scarf, you can always switch in Indeedee to set up the terrain to get around a Fake Out. And that's won me a couple games to where they bring in Iron Hands and they try to fake out Annihilate after I pick up a big KO, and they want to just remove Annihilate, and I just switch in Indeedee and take another KO, right? And that's just a pretty powerful, consistent method of bringing Indeedee Amorouge in the back. So this is a Greninja team first. My idea was that I wanted to build something around Greninja that I felt like was pretty fun. It is a little gimmicky, but it can be consistent in some cases. It is pretty strong. I recommend just giving this team a try if you want to get better with it. It can, net you some wins and help you climb the ladder, right? So Greninja is going to be loaded dice. The loaded dice is so that Water Shuriken hits the most amount of times that it should, whether it's 4 or 5 times. And you want to Water Shuriken into Water Tera Annihilape, right? Which is Annihilate with Water Tera resisted. And if you get 4 or 5 hits, you're just boosting your Rage Fist. And the idea behind Scarf is that you outspeed everything that's not Regieleki or Booster Energy, Iron Bundle, and Flutter, right? And they don't have their own Tailwinds up. In some cases, if they're a Slowmon, you might still outspeed them on Tailwind, right? But other than that, you outspeed everything, and you can just pick up big one-hit KOs with Rage Fist. Even Dark type attackers like Chi-Yu, Chien-Pao, it'll be brought down to its sash with the Rage Fist, right? Especially if you get 5 hits. And so to round off the Greninja is Ghost Tera. So Ghost Tera helps you lead both of them and get around like Fake Out turn 1. And also Water Shuriken, this is a physical Greninja, and Water Shuriken is a special attack. So I initially I had a special attack in Greninja, but I realized that if I didn't Water Tera Annihilate, Water Shuriken was doing way too much damage to Annihilate, right? So I needed to make it like a negative special attack nature, so that I can Water Shuriken into my Annihilate without having to Tera Annihilate into water, right? In the event that they lead Fake Out, and I feel like they're gonna Fake Out Greninja. That way I waste their Fake Out and I still get a powerful Rage Fist into like their Iron Hands or their Rillaboom, right? So that's the idea behind why I switched Greninja from a special attacker to a physical attacker. Now switching into a physical attacker is not as strong as dealing damage, but it can, 2-hit KO Flutter Mane with Shadow Sneak. It doesn't 1-hit KO even with the Ghost Tera. And also, you're already, I do believe you can 1-hit KO Flutter Mane if you go for Shadow Sneak and you Protean into Ghost type, and then the next turn you go for a Ghost Tera. So that way you're double dipping into your Ghost Tera. That's the way to double dip with Protean, right? You turn into one of those typings and then you Tera into that typing as well. So that makes your Shadow Sneak a little bit more powerful once you turn into a Ghost type and then you Tera into a Ghost type. So then Brick Break is there to break screens. Waterfall is there to, I pick Waterfall over Liquidation because I figured that the chance to flinch gives you out in certain games, and you'll kind of see that in some of my games that I'm showcasing here. The chance to flinch gives you out, and Liquidation only gives you a chance to drop defense, right? So it's only a 5 damage trade-off, so I feel like Waterfall is the better option here. And like I said, Brick Break is there to just break any screens or Grimmsnarl, leading with screens and things like that to break Aurora Veils. Just a nice tech. It does help you deal good damage in the Chien-Pao, bring it down to a sash, and then you can just Water Shuriken and Shadow Sneak it the next turn to finish it off. And if you it can't KO you with Sucker Punch as long as you don't tear into your Ghost type, right? So then you're in a good spot from there. And so Annihilape, this works two ways. You can use this Annihilape next to your Amorouge or your Indeedee to go for a final gambit and set up Trick Room. It is not max HP though, so you can gauge that. It has a little bit of HP investment. You can check when you check the description of the team when you rent it. But it does have enough HP to, like, you know, deal a lot of damage to things and KO things that are not full health. But I don't usually go for the final gambit on it, but that's just the option that you have there to help you set up Trick Room if you don't want to go for the follow me, right? And so that's one of the options that you can use. The Rage Fist, the Water Tera is really strong. It's really good at just removing things from the field. Like I say, even dark types have a hard time, you know, dealing with it. The only weakness to it that I see that kind of struggle with is not dark types specifically, because you can still deal a lot of damage to them, but normal types being immune, and then Focus Sash Pokemon. I struggled with a Focus Sash Landorus, and I think one of the matches that you'll see coming up, the Focus Sash just kind of saved my opponent from instantly losing the game, right? Because I wasn't able to pick up that KO, and they were able to kind of stick around and annoy the team a little bit. So Focus Sash can be an issue with that. You can go for, you know, the Water Shuriken and Shadow Sneaks to try to get rid of that. But if Greninja, if they lead a fake out and you bring out your own Indeedee to get around the fake out, then the Focus Sash Pokemon can stick around a little bit longer, right? So, and then there's close combat just for a lot of burst damage, so you're not just locked into going for Rage Fist. You can just pick up big KOs. This Annihilape is max attack, so you can just deal a lot of damage with like Surprise, Scarf, close combat, right? And then the last move is Tera Blast. So Tera Blast is just a cool tech that if they lead Intimidating to you and you kind of want to just remove their Arcanine from the field, their Hisuian or regular Arcanine, you can go for the Tera Blast. It's good in the Heatran as well. You probably rather want to go for close combat, but that's just an option there for you to have just some water coverage. I didn't really feel like it needed U-turn on this set because I didn't feel like U-turn was something that this Annihilape really wanted to do. Its aim is to really pick up KOs and not really like pivot around. So the second mode of this team that I ended up replacing the Arcanine and the Rillaboom for was the Indeedee Amorouge. It's pretty standard. This Amorouge has enough speed to outspeed everything on Tailwind next to Zapdos. That's not Regieleki, right? And then you have the Trick Room mode, and then this Amorouge can play on a Tailwind as well. You have Heat Wave instead of Armor Cannon just for consistent spread damage. And then you have the Energy Ball, which makes Amorouge kind of play like a grass type. Safety Goggles on Indeedee instead of Rocky Helmet, since the Rocky Helmet is taken up by Zapdos. And then you just have the standard Fairy Tera, so you get around like dark type attacks one-shotting Indeedee. Next we have Zapdos. Since Zapdos is Steel Tera and static, this Zapdos is a really good counter into Chien-Pao, Urshifu, and Dragonite. Once you go Steel Tera, Dragonite is locked in, the E-Speed can't really do much to you. Unless Chien-Pao has Sacred Sword, it's not doing much to you, but you still can set up a Tailwind and then outspeed it the next turn and KO with a Thunderbolt after it breaks its Focus Sash by hitting you with Rocky Helmet. And it's usually going to go for Ice Spinner to you first, which you resist that, right? And then you just have Roost, so you can just Roost off all that damage. The Zapdos set is really consistent, it's really tech. The Tailwind helps you support, you know, the Annihilape, the Enamorus, and the Amorouge in the back if you want to go play around that. And then the last Pokemon is going to be Enamorus. So this Enamorus is Choice Specs. This thing is extremely powerful, especially with Ghost Tera. It feels just like, you know, Fluttermane back in like Series 2 Regulation C. Just when you go for those Choice Specs, Fairy Tera, Moonblast, and Dazzling Gleam. But the Springtide Sword, if it can hit, it does more damage than a Dazzling Gleam, right? And then the Moonblast is just really powerful. And a lot of Fluttermanes are not running max attack right now, so that Moonblast just feel like it just hits a bit harder. And if they try to like drop your stats or anything like that, the contrary ability just, you know, reverses it and boosts it up, which I think is really cool. There's also coverage of Earth Power to hit Heatran and other things that are weak to Earth, and then Mystical Fire to hit like grass types and like Rillaboom to one-hit KO them, and also like Abomasnow and things like that. So this set is really cool. It doesn't have a real good defensive Tera, so it is kind of susceptible to steel type attacks and like a faster Gholdengo, but you do one hit KO the Gholdengo with Earth Power if you can move before it. And that's the idea behind this Enamorus. I just wanted to try it on this team. I felt like it was really cool, and I'm interested to see how other people are using Enamorus. I am a little bit disappointed that Springtide Storm does not get 100% accurate in the rain. It's one of the only moves, those new Storm moves from the Genies, that is not 100% accurate in the rain. And also, this Enamorus is not max speed, but it has enough speed, like I said, to outspeed, just like Amorouge outspeed everything on Tailwind, except Regieleki, right? So if you're going up against a Regieleki, you might want to play towards a Trick Room match. Regieleki can be kind of powerful. I did lose on a ladder against a Choice Specs Regieleki that just kind of cleaved through this team, right? Because I don't have any electric resistance. So just keep that in mind, that you should play towards Trick Room if you're going up against Regieleki. Other than that, this team is really strong. Just give it a try. There's a Pokepaste down below, as well as the rental code up at the top, and the rental code will be down in the description as well. But let's get into these battles. So first match, we have Dragonite, Chien-Pao, Fluttermane, Iron Hands, Donzo, and Hisuian Goodra. So we can beat the Hisuian Goodra with Amorouge in the back, right? If I lead Indeedee Amorouge, he's gonna go for the Dragonite Chien-Pao stuff. I could go with this, right? I mean, to be honest, he doesn't even have answers in the Trick Room. Maybe he's Fluttermane in prison. I like Zapdos here in the back. I should leave Dragonite Chien-Pao, right? Boost energy or use special attack speed. Okay. So that's definitely in prison Trick Room. So we're gonna go for this just in case he. Oh, disconnect. Guess he didn't have an answer for that lead. So we have Tornadus, Landorus, Gyarados, Fluttermane, Iron Hands, and Amorouge. He should expect me to go for the Trick Room, right? Because this team, like, just looking at it, looks like Trick Room. So he shouldn't expect the Choice Scarf from me now, like the Annihilape and Greninja. So we'll go with that strategy. I think Enamorus is really good into the Iron Hands. But I'm kind of thinking, since he does have Tailwind, he doesn't have any Psychic resist, so Indeedee Amorouge kind of like is really good in the back, right? So we'll go with that. We'll leave Enamorus and Zapdos on the bench for this game. Cool gratification background. Fluttermane, Landorus. my Annihilape being stronger. Alright, so Landers is not a problem here, so are you special attack? Special attack. So we can one-shot the Flutter Mane here, right? And I'm not really worried about Landers, whatever. If it switch out, then it's just potentially giving me another +1. And it switches back in. So if he doesn't protect Flutter Mane, we're removing immediately. He doesn't have any switches to Rage Fist. Unless for some reason he's like randomly Water Tera Flutter Mane. I've only seen that once. And that was like back in Series 2. You know, I got a Rage Fist off and it was a normal Tera Flutter Mane, which was the first time I've ever seen that. He is Terrain though. It might be Flutter Mane that's a fairy, right? So he's going for Tera Blast, trying to snipe off my Annihilape, but we Water Tera so far. And we outspeed it, so we know it's not Choice Specs. So Flutter Mane's gone. We crit ourselves. Can we get a 5th hit? We'll take 4. Flutter Mane doesn't get to play the game. Goodbye. Bye-bye. See you next time. So this Lander is going for this Tera Blast. Ooh, that's extremely close. We have Indeedee in the back to get rid of him early. So he's gonna go for fake out here, so I'm switching Indeedee. He already Tera, so yeah, Amorouge goes crazy here. So I kind of want to remove the Landers. Switching Indeedee, so he can't fake me out. This is actually the perfect game to like showcase this Annihilape set. The only thing this play loses to is if he protects Landorus and then goes for an attack with my hands. But I don't think he should do that. Thinking like usually people don't bring Indeedee off using the back, so you shouldn't expect that. Yeah, there's a fake out. It fails, and then we just KO Landorus. This is like based on 150 power plus. Ooh, he's focusing. Okay, so that does make things a little bit interesting. Oh, he's focusing. Alright, but it's fine, because we can go for priority Surgeon Strikes to that slot. And then follow me. And then Amorouge should be able to sweep this in. What could he have in the back? Gyarados. It's most likely Gyarados in the back. I think I want to Shadow Sneak that slide and follow me. So Gyarados, Landers is probably switching next turn. We're gonna have a lot of counterplay around there. Alright, we do go to Ghost. Drain Punch does a little bit. Will he really switch Landers here? I feel like he has to, right? I'll just waterfall this guy. Let's help him out. Get some chipping. Yeah, there's a switch. This Landorus is supposed to be taking out. It's kind of annoying.
get Amorouge in here now. So this is kind of what we were playing for. I probably should have shut up Shuriken. So I can potentially get a flinch on Gyarados. Expanding Force. I need to set up Trick Room soon, though. This game was literally over if you didn't have the Focus Sash on Landers. Because then my Annihilape just sweeps through Air 16. Oh, but at least we get rid of Landers. Because what we were afraid of was the Rock Slide. So this is just for the flinch chance. We're faster, so we don't need salt. A flinch here would be amazing. Can we get it? It's buried. A flinch here would be amazing. Yes, we got it. Isn't that so ironic that Gyarados that's known for flinching things in Waterfall just finished by a Waterfall from something else? And you can't fake out because we still have terrain, correct? Right. One more turn of terrain. I guess we try to flinch the Iron Hands. Look, as long as he don't have Protect, this should be game on. Does have Protect. But we targeted Iron Hands, so we should have done a lot of damage here. The Waterfall. Waterfall's literally good. But we did get a flinch, which is key. Alright, survives with a slow. You just killed yourself. I think Shadow Sneak does the most damage, is stab. And we just go for Expanding Force. That should be enough to wrap this game up. How much is this game? Decent damage. Nice. And that's the game. We played that one pretty well. Alright, we have Terry. He doesn't have any normal types. Nice. He does have Murkrow. But seeing our Indeedee Amorouge, he might be inclined to not bring Murkrow. So Focus Sash is also not good for Annihilape, right? And Focus Sash is potentially on Glamora. I expect maybe Scarf on Tusk. Leftovers on Gastrodon. Or maybe the Scarf is on... the Scarf is definitely on the top version with Sunny Day from Murkrow. Is that scary? I mean, that does nothing to Indeedee Amorouge, right? It could go Earthquake. But I got Grass Tera. Outside of Glamora, like Grass Tera Amorouge just really goes in here. I'm gonna go with the Amorouge and Zapdos in the back. I kind of like this. I'm gonna leave the Annihilate, even though I know it can just one-shot everything. I think he's gonna leave Murkrow Typhlosion. I just got this feeling, but he really shouldn't. If it's not Murkrow Typhlosion, maybe Glamora plus Great Tusk. We'll see. I think Indeedee Amorouge, even if I don't set up Trick Room, is really good into his team. Just the threat of Trick Room, I think it's pretty powerful here. Gastrodon Typhlosion, I'd expect this. Frisk my safety goggles. Okay. I mean, what's stopping me from going from just expanding force here? I could snipe off Gastrodon, but it may protect turn 1. Playing it safe. Let's just go for. Yeah, see, there's a Tera. So Energy Ball would have failed there, right? Because it would have just been to Indeedee. Gastrodon. And plus, I wasn't Grass Tera, so the Energy Ball wouldn't be stabbed. So this was the best play here. Flamethrower. Just take that. Okay. Expanding Force off. Nice, and we just one-shot Typhlosion. That thing has no bulk. Gastrodon is in KO range. We may lose Indeedee here, but it's fine. We have Zapdos in the back. We can go for Tailwind. There's a yawn here that's pretty annoying, right? It is yawn. I'm actually just gonna click Expanding Force again. Follow me. You can put my Indeedee to sleep. You're pretty much just gonna KO it. Gastrodon switches. Is it Murkrow? He brought Murkrow in the back. That's pretty much game. I don't really see where he gets the offense from. If I save my Steel Tera for my Zapdos, then you can't really beat it, right? Unless he has like Earth Power and more. That's finish. But we're not asleep yet. So he just wasted the yawn. Are you focused, Sash here? He's not focused Sash. I don't even have to Tera Zapdos right here. Should be fine. Actually, let's bring out an Amorous and go for a Springtide Storm on one-shot Murkrow. I kind of like that. Choice Specs Springtide Storm. I think we want to stay. We want to stay Fairy Tera. We don't want a Fairy Tera here because we want to keep our flying typing. Just in case Gastrodon has Earth Power. Right? Nothing's stopping me from just Expanding Force in the Springtide. And we hit all. Gastrodon does survive. It's resisted, so. And then we just KO with Expanding Force. Alright, there's 2 wins up with this team. We had nothing for Indeedee, honestly. I'm actually not even sure what he was leaving hard for. He let Gastrodon, so maybe it was to counter. I don't know if he knew about the strategy with the Water Shuriken, because it would have been redirected to Gastrodon. So maybe he led for that because he let Gastrodon. So maybe he had some idea of the strategy that I'm using. I doubt it, but It's possible. Alright, so we have Ursaluna plus Crest, Iron Hands. I really like that core. I am building a team of my own. It's kind of a little bit offensive plus that core. And I want to see like how well it does. I really do like how strong it is and consistent it is with getting Trick Room. So he has that core, then he has the Flutter Mane, Chi-Yu, Tornadus, Fast core. So I do think he's going to play towards the Ursaluna Crest core, seeing that I have Amorouge and Indeedee. So I think I'm going to go with this strategy. I think these two in the back are good. I can deny him Trick Room easily, right? Since that's the case, I kind of want to go Enamorus. Zapdos. Actually, I like Amorouge for the... I like the immunity to fire types, and I like the energy ball into the Ursaluna. So there's the Flutter Mane plus. So let's see. Maybe he's Focus Sash, right? I think this covers for it being Focus Sash, right? I have a suspicion that it's Focus Sash and I didn't see a booster energy. Usually when you lead that with Iron Hands, it helps you get up like triple. You take out one of the mons, and then the other one can only take Flutter Mane down to Sash, and it gets triple up successfully. So this play helps me deny tripping turn 1 because we don't need it. Then I can always go to my play next turn. So my only fear now is an Ursaluna switching, right? Because it's got to be in the back. I know that. And if he was going for Trick Room, he might not know that I'm Scarlet. Because he was going to be moving last anyway. Oh, actually, he might not have been left for triple. So let's go for this and see can we knock out Chi-Yu. I may lose both mons here, but I think I can win with what I have in the back. Iron Hand switches. Is that Ursaluna? Tornadus. Okay. If this one shots, we can win right here. Right? I really need that 5th hit. Well, let's see how much this is doing. Chi-Yu's not that bulky on the physical side. Ooh, it's enough to KO still. Let's go. Oh, that's a crit. Probably mattered. That probably mattered. But I'll take the good fortune. Yeah, the crit probably mattered. I'm not sure about that calc though. I don't know if it's one shot. And Chi-Yu's not that bulky on the defensive side. And then we just KO Iron Hands. Unless it's normal Tera, I can't really do anything about this, right? cancels. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Flutter Man was going for Trick Room there. Or maybe not, because he had Chi Tornadus in the back. He had Chi Tornadus in the back. Maybe he was just going for a Dazzling Gleam. I mean, Dazzling Gleam looks so good there. Going up against a Dark type and a Fighting type. Like, you just click Gleam and one of them taking super effective damage unless I switch, right? Or Protect. So maybe he was going for a Dazzling Gleam. No, let's go on to the next one. Alright, T-Gobi. I don't know why when I read that name I thought of Togepi. But I know it doesn't say that. But it just kind of reminds me just of like the words are kind of mixed around and it's a B instead of a P. But he has Tyranitar. I have not seen that. And it's funny because Tyranitar is really good into the strategies I have here. It's good into Zapdos. It's good into the Annihilate. But if he sees Annihilate, he might Tera away from the Dark type. Because he's 4 times weak to fighting, right? And then that'll help me. So I actually want to still go this. Because I'm pretty sure Tyranitar comes out on lead here. Probably Tyranitar Heatran. Or Tyranitar Rillaboom. Or Rillaboom's in the back to get rid of terrain. So it's going to be Tyranitar Heatran most likely. So my Zapdos kind of walls his Rillaboom. I think I want to leave Amorouge and Indeedee. I don't like how hard they're walled by Heatran and Tyranitar. Rock Slide plus like an Earth Power from Heatran on turn 1. It's pretty threatening. Tornadus. So I wonder if he sees this coming. Because what I want to do is go for Tera, Rage Fish U, go for Water Shuriken. Because he should think I'm going to go for a fighting type attack and maybe a Tera. So he could Tera in the flying. That's just gonna help me though. Tornadus with the Tailwind is scary, but I do have a slow Tailwind in the back with Zapdos. So I can switch out Annihilate. Greninja, the black Greninja looks so cool. Reminds me of like a Naruto character or something. He's actually a ninja too. So there's the Water Tera. So I take less damage from Shuriken. What is he going for? Alright, there's a Tera. It has to be Tyranitar. I know it's Tyranitar. Looks like we got a screen freeze here. Okay. Well, while we're waiting, if Tyranitar Teras into anything that's not Dark type or normal type, then he gets one shot here. And you would think that to get away from the fighting weakness that he's gonna go away from the normal or Dark Tera. So it should be something to counter that. Could be flying, could be grass. I've seen ground. Ground next to Tornadus is pretty good, so you can go for Ground Tera Earthquake. And I've also seen some Fairy Tyranitar too. Because Fairy is just a good Tera type to go into. And the only weakness that you share is Steel Tera. I mean, Steel typing. It is Fairy. Like I was just talking about that. So the reason you go for Fairy is because Tyranitar already resists poison, right? And Fairy is just a good neutral typing to go into. It gives you like the less weaknesses on the both Pokemon. So that's a pretty good Tera on his part. If we ever get back to the battle. It should be a one-shot. Alright, here we go. I haven't seen the screen do that since like Series 1. Like when the game first came out, it was doing that a lot. So they might want to fix these bugs that are starting to pop back up. So we hit 4 times. Oh, we hit 5 times. I should still outspeed with the Choice Scarf unless he's like really fast Tyranitar. So this should be a KO. And that's where my Tera type worked against my opponent, because Tyranitar is bulky enough with the dark typing and resisting it. I think he could have survived that and got an attack off. But now we just, you know, took my opponent's Tera. He did get Tailwind up. So he can bring in something that can potentially outspeed my Annihilape and threaten it. But he should definitely know I'm Choice Scarf, so I'm spare him no Tailwind. Alright, just further man. I want to get my own Tailwind up. But I think I should wait. Because Zapdos can't probably take Dazzling Gleam plus Bleak Moonstorm twice. But we do have super effective Shadows. Okay. See how much that's doing. If we get a crit, we make it just not. Okay, so he's giving himself a special attack boost. But he's not going for a Bleak Moonstorm. So if we survive this, we're in a really good spot. Doesn't do too much. Oh, that's Moon Blast. I don't know. Okay, that's a one hit KO. Okay. Yeah, anything I switched in there is getting KO. Well, maybe Zapdos can survive it. But now I could potentially get my own Tailwind up. And I just KO Tornadus on the following turn, right? So another Shadow Sneaker KO that. Ooh, that thing is strong. Okay. Right, so we can KO Futterman this turn. Alright, now we have Choice Specs Springtide. What he has in the back. Fluttermane has to protect her. If it doesn't have protected, I'm in a decent spot. If it doesn't protect it, so maybe he's going for a hard read. Tornadus can miss these blue ones. Can you miss 2 for me? It's not great. And we miss ours. Incredible. And it's Urshifu. I think I could have won here because it might be. Could he be Rain Dance and Sunny Day? He is. If I would have hit that, I would have one-shot Tornadus, and then I could have survived Urshifu because I resist both his moves. So well played. Moonblast might have been a better play there. That was a good match, though. Another Cresselia team. Iron Hands. This time it's Heatran, Gordingo, Rillaboom, and Urshifu. So he has the Steel types. Heatran is really good into Amorouge, right? But he doesn't have any normal or dark types. So then again, this strategy, even if he leaves Rillaboom, I can get around it, right? And I can just pick up KOs. I think Enamorus is really good here. Zapdos kind of just came in and got one shot, right? I didn't like that. But it does well into Iron Hands, Gordingo, and Rillaboom, right? So Zapdos is actually pretty threatening here. I think Amorouge was the play last game. Because I could have set up a Trick Room. But the Tyranitar scared me off. My opponent's thinking. Let's see if he times out. He's debating whether he should hard counter Trick Room or not. So let's see what he leaves. Or if he just lets me set up Trick Room. See, the thing about my Amorouge and Indeedee, my Amorouge has a lot of speed on it. So like under Tailwind, it outspeed everything that doesn't have its own speed boost and weather or Tailwind or like a boost energy, except for Lucky, right? Alright, so we're just gonna remove Urshifu from the game. I don't want him to play the game. I'm not too worried about Heatran. They can't do much until Annihilate once I Tera in the water. My opponent probably has no idea what Greninja does. Alright, here's our Tera. Urshifu could be Scarf, but since we're Water Tera, certain strikes is not going to do too much. I'm just going to give me a Rage boost. Now, Heatran could go Grass Tera and Tera Blast me. Now, if he does that, that'll be a crazy play. Okay, he doesn't respect it. So we move before Urshifu. So as long as it's not focused out, we should one shot here. And then we should be able to just clean through this team. Heatran protects me. Not even on me. Alright, we turn to water. 5 damage, 5 damage, 4 damage, 5 damage. We got 5 hits. So this strategy is really good. The only thing that really deals with it is, well, there we go, focus edge. But we can priority take out Urshifu now. Just giving me more rage first boost. Alright, nice. We can protect next turn, but it's fine. It doesn't have any switch-ins to this. And now my Rage Fist, I hit myself 5 times, right? So that's 100, 150, 200, 250. 300, plus he hit me 3 times. So 350 I think is a cap, so I'm already capped out. And we'll just sneak this slot. So Heatran does return. Let's see what's coming out. Something's gonna come out. Rillaboom's not taking this shot. And then next turn we just target whatever I feel like is most likely to protect. Target the other slot. Because one of them is gonna protect. It's probably just 50-50. Nice. My opponent may just scoop because he doesn't know what I have in the bag. But since he already Terra, my Enamorus can just come in and click Choice Specs Earth Power. 100% accurate and just one shot at each one. Oh yeah, we definitely locked into it. Scarf Dango could be scary here though. So I want to go after it. And then just waterfall Heatran. He's not Scarf Dango, he's in a really bad spot. The next turn I'm just going to Tailwind with Zapdos. And then Enamorus should clean up. Okay, that protects. Alright, that did 50%. We get a flinch. Okay, so he's gonna heal up a hefty amount plus the Grassy Tail. He may not be able to KO us though. Yeah, that's not KO. Yeah, that's not stab. You can go for a double protect here, but Heatran's getting awfully low. He does get the double protect. So now we have a somewhat of a game. As long as I click Tailwind with Zapdos, I think we're in a good spot. If he flinches here, he just loses. Double protects are pretty annoying. It seems like my opponent, when they posted immediately lose the game, it seems like they continue to get them. We go for Tailwind here, so Enamorus is always faster. And we just remove Heatran. Heatran protects, that's fine. Tailwind next turn. My opponent's playing to his outs. He's keeping his Pokemon out. Shadow Ball's not killing. Thunderbolt you. Waterfall you. And that was just kind of a waiting game for Enamorus to come in and pick Earth Power. Even if I don't kill Earth Power, I don't think Gholdengo can deal with Zapdos fast enough since I have Roost. Take the Heatran, so no more protects. How much is Thunderbolt doing? Alright, so it's a 3-hit KO. And now Enamorus just comes in and clicks Choice Specs. Gholdengo can go for a double protect here to wait out Tailwind, but even if he does, he has to still one-shot Enamorus, right? And once he drops his special attack with Make It Rain, my Zapdos can just roost infinitely, and he's not going to be able to kill me with Shadow Balls unless he gets special attack drops. But then I'm going for Thunderbolt, so I can get a paralysis as well as he can get a special attack drop. I mean, special defense drop. Earth Power is always strong. So it should protect here. And then he's gonna go for the double next turn. I have a little bit of bulk on this Enamorus, so it's not max speed. If I was max speed, then I wouldn't have to worry about it. But I wanted to make it just a little bit slower so it can play in and out of Trick Room. So that's the idea behind that. I'm gonna go for another double. He doesn't even go for it, so. And we just finish it from there. Nice. Alright, so that's going to be it for our matches with this team. Alright, so our first couple of games with this team went pretty well. We did take one loss, and I do feel like I could have played it better. Maybe if I would have brought Amorouge, I could have dealt with these the Flutter Mane that's in the sun, right? I think that was really cool tech for his Tornadus to be able to play in sun and rain. He had Rain Dance and Sunny Day, right? So he was able to boost the Flutter Mane as well as get rid of the sun, so his Urshifu can be stronger and go for those Surging Strikes in the rain. I do think we would have won that game. Choice Specs Enamorus one-shots Tornadus in my practice matches with it. Even the bulky variants, we one-shot it with Springtide Storm, but maybe I should have went for Moonblast just to make sure that I picked up the KO and didn't have to worry about the miss. And then in the sun, Urshifu, it could not kill me with the Surging Strikes, and I resisted close combat. I 4 times resist close combat. So I would have survived and just KO Urshifu back with a Moonblast. So I think I could have won if I just hit the Springtide Storm, but I could have played a little bit better by going for Moonblast. But that's going to be it for this team. If you want to try it, there's a runner code up at the top. And I also have the PokePaste down in the description below. And leave a like, a comment, let me know if you tried it out, if you like this team. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.